Welcome to Dark Horizon Creations. I'm Mike. This time we're taking a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Series 60th Anniversary Infantry Action Soldier by Hasbro. Now, if you hadn't already, please follow, like, and subscribe to my social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get a notification of when I post new content. All right, so it's been a really long time since I've done a product review on this channel, and we're going to kick things back off with the G.I. Joe Classified Series 60th Anniversary Infantry Action Soldier. This is the first in a series of deluxe action figures that Hasbro is releasing in the G.I. Joe Classified Series line in celebration of 60 years of G.I. Joe. Now, this figure was really well received by collectors and fans for the most part, and I have to admit, I've got mixed feelings about it. If you go back and watch my product review of Grunt, you'll hear me say that at the time, I believed Grunt to be the most accurate and realistic portrayal of a modern combat soldier within the G.I. Joe Classified Series line at that time, and I still feel that way. One of the things that is lacking from the Classified Series line that they have gradually improved upon is realism. Now, this figure, along with the 60th Anniversary Combat Swimmer, were both released on 10 April 2024. Hasbro started this line off with really heavy inspiration from the cartoons, a lot of sci-fi elements that fans outright rejected. And because of that feedback, they slowly began to implement changes into the line. One of those most notably being the accessories and weapons. One thing I'll tell you I don't like about this figure is it doesn't include a nav board on the plate carrier like Grunt. I also don't care for the weapons that they included, and I'll talk more about that as we get into the review. All right, taking a look at the packaging, you've got your black and gold 60th Anniversary Deco G.I. Joe Classified Series banner down the bottom, 60th Anniversary logo on the lower left, some artwork on the right of the Infantry Action Soldier, and of course the plastic window display box. I like the fact that Hasbro returned to this. It makes for a much nicer looking package for collectors. You're also able to see everything that you're getting. Starting on the left, you've got the M2 50 caliber machine gun, or the Ma Deuce. You've got a belt of ammo. Next to it, you've got a squad automatic weapon. I'm not certain if this is supposed to be an M249, if it's supposed to be the Stoner 63, or one of the other 5.56 variant light machine guns, but it is designed after a modern 5.56 squad automatic weapon. Down below that, you've got a really large field pack. Above the saw, you've got an interchangeable pistol grip for the M2. Adjacent to that, you've got a Mitch helmet. Below that, you've got a set of dog tags. Above the action figure, you've got a scarf. Beside it, you've got an interchangeable head sculpt, and then the double barrel AR. You also have a modern sidearm, which appears to be their take on a SIG M17. Then you've got an M beater, and below that, you've got the actual tripod for the M2 inside the packaging. On the side panels, you've got that same artwork of the Infantry Action Soldier. Then on this side panel, you've got the QR code that you can scan. And on the back, you've got your obligatory product shots that show the action figure in a simulated play sequence there. And over to the right, you got some obligatory product shots of some of the details of the poncho. Again, something I don't care for. All right, so here we have the Infantry Action Soldier outside of the packaging. First thing you will notice is that I have repainted this action figure. I've heavily weathered it to make it look a little more dirty and realistic, like he's been out in combat. You'll also notice this figure does include a display base, and that is something that has been long demanded and sought after by collectors and fans of the Classified Series line, and they're finally getting it, at least with some of the figures. And I'll remove him from the display base so you guys can see what it looks like. Got the G.I. Joe Star logo. I don't like this logo as good as I do the one from the live action movies with the Falcon and Star. I think that looks much better, but nonetheless, still really cool. And it's solid ABS plastic. It's hollow on the bottom, but it's better than something that's 3D printed. And the port and his heels will go right down on the pegs. There you have your action soldier. So first and foremost, let's talk about the articulation on the action figure. So the head and neck are both on separate ball joints, full range of motion. Forward and lateral movement to shoulder, you've got a butterfly joint with a full range of motion. Bicep rotation, upper arm rotation, double jointed elbow, wrist swivel, and this strong side hand does not have wrist pivot. The sport side hand does. You guys can see the hinge there. And I'll talk more about that in just a moment. The upper torso is on a hinge, as you guys can see here, and the lower part of the torso is on a ball joint, giving it a full range of motion. Forward and lateral movement at the thigh. Drop down thigh joint, you guys can see that there. Thigh rotation. Double jointed knees. Lower leg rotation. Foot will pivot as well as roll. So a full range of motion on this guy. And the joints on this figure were super tight. I actually took it apart. And that's one reason why they're a little loose. All right, so let's talk about the accessories. First and foremost, we'll talk about the poncho. When I first saw this, I thought it was meant to be a wingsuit. See, it's got a pocket on the front with an opening flap, more like an anorak. It's got this molded hood. I think it's ridiculous. Also included is this really large field pack. It's got pegs on either side, port on the back. Some of the other G.I. Joe Classified Series figures have this pack. Looks like a really modified large rucksack. Also included is the M-beater radio. It's got a peg that will plug into this port. I don't like this because it constantly falls off. Here's the scarf. It's molded plastic. You don't have to remove the head sculpt and put that on if you want to. I just choose not to use it because it impedes the movement and position of the head sculpt. Got a set of dog tags. Gunmetal gray. You've got this thigh accessory pouch. I removed this. It's very loose on his leg. It's unnecessary. Also got the Mitch helmet. You guys can see that I've repainted the hook and loop panels, the trim, the Wilcox mount. It looks a little more realistic. You can see the factory one up here that doesn't have the paint as compared to mine. Also included is this double barrel AR. It's got this folding vertical grip, movable magazine, and this is where you will encounter problems with this action figure. Because of the way that this strong side hand is molded, it's kind of open. It's not really closed. When you bring his arm up, you want to put him into an accurate shooting position. You can see that the weapon constantly falls out of his grip. And it's just a constant struggle. You can see that that folding grip is going to pop off when I put a support side hand in. If I try to move it, that's what it does. I've tried using the Action Force weapons. I get a little bit better result because they're solid ABS plastic, but you still have to pre-position the weapon using the support side hand and then bring the strong side hand up. And I don't like it because the gun's almost always at an angle, and you can see his grip is not on that gun. It just keeps coming out. It is really, really frustrating. This is the first time I've encountered this with the G.I. Joe Classified Series figure. You didn't have this problem with Grunt. Also included is the LMG or light machine gun. I don't know if this was meant to be a Stoner 63 because it has some of the features of that gun. One of the other 5.56 guns or M249. It's really nice. I do like it. I like the fact that the bipod folds up into that recessed area. You've got carrying handle, detachable box magazine there, molded rounds in there. I really like that stock. I think it looks really cool. There's not a lot of warping on this one. That's always a plus with these weapons. Here is the Mod Deuce M2 50 cal. It's on a pencil and tripod. It'll pivot up and down, rotate left and right. A lot of nice detail, not a lot of warping on this one. Again, that's really cool. It does have an interchangeable grip. This is the traditional grip with a butterfly trigger on it. You also get this grip that you can plug into it. If you choose to use that, I don't. I just like the butterfly grip better. Still a really cool accessory. Also included is sidearm. Now, when you look at this, because of copyright and trademark reasons, they can't copy real firearms exactly. It sort of looks like a SIG M17, but then it also looks like a Glock or maybe a 1911, some features from all of those in there. He's got a drop thigh holster. Let's talk about the pouches on his plate carrier. You got an admin pouch. I glued that on. IFAC pouch. I glued that on. Double mag pouch for the rifle. I glued that on. Single mag pouch for the rifle. I glued that on the belt. And I glued this large accessory pouch onto his back. And the reason being is because they constantly fall off. And if you're using these for toy photography like I do, you don't want to lose parts and pieces like the embittered radio that I showed you guys a few minutes ago. And that's one of the downsides to that. So just taking a little bit of Loctite, gluing it in place because I know I'm not going to remove them or change them around. Overall, it's a really nice action figure. I do wish that the plate carrier had a nav board on it like Grunt. That's a possibility that I might resolve with a third-party seller on eBay or Etsy if they make those, as well as a radio pouch. That would be a much more realistic addition to the plate carrier. You wouldn't see his M-beater attached to the outside without being on one. Also don't like the fact that both of the hand sculpts do not have the hinge on. And the fact that the strong side hand has such an open grip and such difficulty in holding accessories. That's not something that I saw on Grunt or any of the other Classified Series figures for that matter. I don't know why it's an issue with this one. It's possible it's just a fluke with this particular figure because I'm looking at this one and that grip seems to be much more closed. So I may open this one later and give you guys a comparison on Instagram so that you can see if there's a difference or not. If you're into troop building, this is a much better sculpt than Grunt. The issue is ensuring that the height of the action figure is identical to the height of the G.I. Joe figure you're going to do a head swap with. If you're a collector or a fan, it's a must-have. I highly recommend picking it up now at the $40 price point because the value on these figures is exponentially going to increase over time. So there you have the G.I. Joe Classified Series 60th Anniversary Infantry Action Soldier by Hasbro.